The World Economic Forum at Davos kicked off this week, and everyone is talking about Emmanuel Macron. The leader of France gave a speech about the current state of the world, but everyone could not stop talking about his bizarre appearance. Macron is currently getting around town wearing a pair of stylish aviators, even indoors whilst giving speeches because of an ailment that is currently affecting his eye. Still, that didn't stop Macron from taking a backhanded swipe at the US.
Where international law is trampled underfoot, and where the only law that seems to matter is that of the strongest, and imperial ambitions are resurfacing. Obviously, the Russian war of aggression against Ukraine, which will enter into its fourth year next month, and conflicts continue in the Middle East and across Africa. This is as well a shift towards a world without effective collective governance, and where multilateralism is weakened by powers that obstruct it or turn away from it, and rules are undermined. And I can multiply the examples of international bodies weakened or left by the key economies. And when we look at the situation, it's clearly a very concerning time, because we are killing the structure where we can fix the situation and the common challenges we have. Without collective governance, cooperation gives way to relentless competition. Competition from the United States of America through trade agreements that undermine our export interests, demand maximum concessions, and openly aim to weaken and subordinate Europe, combined with an endless accumulation of new tariffs that are fundamentally unacceptable, even more so when they are used as leverage against territorial sovereignty.
And Macron's swipe at the US didn't stop there. He went on to invite China to invest in Europe, flying in the face of Trump's intention to protect Western allies from China.
China is welcome, but what we need is more Chinese foreign direct investment in Europe in some key sectors to contribute to our growth, to transfer some technologies, and not just to export towards Europe some devices or products which sometimes don't have the same standards or are much more subsidized as the one being produced in Europe.
Rebel News hosts Sheila Gunn-Reid and Lacey Merle mocked Macron, calling his speech passive-aggressive.
To French President Emmanuel Macron, we clarify, wearing sunglasses due to a health condition, I have those exact sunglasses, finishes his WEF speech on the global agenda by taking an obvious passive-aggressive swipe against the Americans, talking about the rule of law, predictability, and loyalty. Like, as to say, you can come to us, baby, because you can't count on Trump. As if America is some lawless hellscape akin to,
right.
Well, I guess Somalia.
Right.
But Trump wasn't taking the swipe lying down, humiliating Macron on the world stage.
Do you have any response to President Macron saying he will not join the Board of Peace?
Oh, did he say that? Well,
Yeah.
Nobody wants him because he's going to be out of office very soon. So, that's all right. What I'll do is, if they feel like Costo, I'll put a 200% tariff on his wines and champagnes, and he'll join. But he doesn't have to join. If he said that, you're probably giving it to me a little bit differently. But if he actually did say that, but as you know, he's going to be out of office in a few months.
Did you invite President Putin to join the...
Yes, he's one of the people. These are world leaders, and the answer is yes.
The tension emerged after Trump's rhetoric regarding the US acquisition of Greenland escalated, with the president now saying he will slap countries who oppose it with a tariff.
Put a 25% tariff, which is, by the way, about 7 times more than they would have to pay by raising their drug. Like 7 times. This wasn't like a little bit more. 7 times more. And I may do that for Greenland, too. I may put a tariff on countries if they don't go along with Greenland, because we need Greenland for national security. So I may do that. I'll give you a little... I'll take you out of that. In fact, that'll end up being the story. But actually, this is a much bigger story because we're reducing healthcare by numbers that you haven't seen. So
But if anyone was under the impression that the US went to Davos to mend friendships, think again. US Secretary of Commerce Howard Lutnick demolished the World Economic Forum during a panel discussion.
Well, I think you should start at a much higher level. Okay? We are in Davos at the World Economic Forum. And the Trump administration and myself, we are here to make a very clear point. Globalization has failed the West and the United States of America. It's a failed policy. It is what the WEF has stood for, which is export, offshore, far shore, find the cheapest labor in the world, and the world is a better place for it. The fact is, it has left America behind. It has left the American workers behind. And what we are here to say is that America First is a different model, one that we encourage other countries to consider, which is that our workers come first. We can have policies that impact our workers. Sovereignty is your borders. You're entitled to have borders. You shouldn't offshore your medicine. You shouldn't offshore your semiconductors. You shouldn't offshore your entire industrial base and have it be hollowed out beneath you. You should not be dependent for that which is fundamental to your sovereignty on any other nation. And if you're going to be dependent on someone, it darn well better be your best allies. Okay? And so that is a different way of thinking. It is completely different than the WEF. I viewed the WEF as not a flagpole in the middle, but in fact, they are the flag. Whichever way the wind blew, so it blew. You should have solar, you should have wind. Why are you going to do solar and wind? Why would Europe agree to be net zero in 2030 when they don't make a battery? They don't make a battery. So if they go 2030, they are deciding to be subservient to China, who makes the batteries.